Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for LG Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we are covering Single, Taken Other. This is season 2, episode 4. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video. You can also share it. You can subscribe if you are new, and leave your comments below. Now, let's get into this episode. I first just want to commend everyone that's on the staff of this production. You guys are really doing the thing. Every episode is just jam-packed with much drama, much storytelling, much compelling stories that you can really connect with in one way or the other. And you guys are doing your thing. So I just wanted to say that up front. We start off. It's morning. We got Royce and Brittany, after they didn't had a night of passion. They're up in the kitchen. They're drinking some coffee, whatever, and you can see all the love is in the air. And then Royce gets a phone call. It's Mr. Campbell from the office, and he has some questions about some accounts. He ends up mentioning Joy's name. Brittany hears it, and everything just goes to you-know-where. She's quite triggered. Royce says, he'll handle what he needs to handle with Mr. Campbell. He'll be in the office really soon. He gets off the phone and he goes back into the kitchen living room area and says, I could take my time and going, but however, Brittany's not in the mood anymore. And it's like reality has hit her and she needs to know what's up with Royce and Joy. Are you still going to be with her? And now you got Royce sitting up there stuttering, and she says, oh, well, that's my answer. It immediately cuts him off. She starts packing whatever stuff he had in the cupboards and everywhere, and is over it. I think that was completely unfair. Royce said, look, you're kicking me out. You don't want anything to do with me. We haven't been talking for several months. And now you're expecting me to make this sudden decision? And I'm with Royce on that. You're not even communicating what you want, but now you want to demand something out of me. Brittany does not talk, really. She don't communicate. And it always seems like she was saying, even within the scene, that it's obvious of what I want. No, nobody has to assume anything, ma'am. Nobody has to assume anything. You have a mouth. You have a voice. And you can use it very well. And we got to see you out of just being frustrated because things aren't going your way. Although, do I think Royce should have moved the way that he moved last season? No, but you're always keeping him at arm's length. He found someone that was more accommodating to him. Guess he was doing other things because he was still acting like an Negro in the streets a little bit. Joy was able to tame him a little bit and actually was more intentional with him. But there's something with you too, Brittany, outside of Royce. It was wrong for Royce to cheat. It's also wrong for you to not really express what you want and they get mad when someone isn't receptive to what you are assuming that this person knows that you want. Y'all haven't even talked about anything. Y'all just had your fun. You had big fun the night before. I don't think that that's fair whatsoever. Just like when you finally wanted to stake your claim on this relationship and you wanted to demand Royce right then and there last season. I remember that. You're making these demands right now that he needs to drop whatever he's got going on because now you're ready for this relationship. It's not cool. Nah. I don't know if y'all gonna get it together later on in this episode. Oof, I think there's another complication coming up between y'all, but we're gonna see. As I went on my vent. Yeah. So then he kicks her out. Then she kicks him out. Now we're at Flair Magazine. Madison comes into the office area near Taryn's desk. And she's looking over her shoulder. And Taryn was like, what are you doing? Madison's trying to see what she's got going on. And she's like, oh, I was just coming by to see if you wanted anything. Okay. Back up from around me. No, I don't have anything. And then she walks off. Taryn says that, look, there's something up. And she goes to Monica about her concerns. When she gets into the door, she says, can we talk? Monica says, I'm busy. And Taryn said, we're all busy. Lord. We're all busy at work. That's what she said. So Taryn tells Monica that Mercedes is invading her personal space and she's moving funny and I don't trust her. Monica really can't be bothered by all this, and because of the state of their relationship right now, Monica basically goes all corporate with her and says, you can put in a formal complaint with HR, they can do an investigation, and we'll see what happens from there. Now, anyway, there's nothing right there that HR is going to be able to do. But anyways, Monica begins throwing her title in Taryn's face, which I was like, ooh, yeah. Look, I'll say this much. Taryn started with all of this attitude, even though she said that she's happy for her friend and only mad at Joan. But Joan ain't getting none of that because we know that Taryn needs her job. But I think Monica is just now giving it back to Taryn. And that was kind of nasty, though. Monica, like, ooh. But look, Taryn started it. Anyways, Taryn's not getting any anywhere or gaining any ground with Monica, so she goes to Joe's office. She burst into the office. I don't even think she knocked. But anyways, she wanted to tell Joe what's going on with Mercedes, but Joe is interviewing a new photographer. His name is Kasim. Taryn comes into the door. She's talking, but she just notices this fine brother sitting there. And guess what? Kasim also noticed Taryn. Anyways, Joe said, look, I'm doing this right here. We can't do this right now. And, of course, Taryn apologizes. And then Joe and Kasim resume the interview. However, Kasim is also kind of like flustered and fluttered after seeing Taryn. So it looks like there's love at first sight. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Now, Royce, he arrives at the office, and one of his co-workers calls him in to the boardroom area because a meeting is already commencing. One of the other people is updating Royce on the reassignment of accounts. Kyle got 2 accounts that he's going to be over all of a sudden. Next thing you know, Royce is taking a look at mean-mugging Kyle because he knows at what kind of a snake that Kyle has been behind his back. At that point, Kyle is looking at Royce and basically like, what's your problem, Negro? Anyways, Royce asks the other people to leave, and then they kind of just square off. Royce confronts Kyle at his snake behavior, lying to the boss to get co-lead. And Kyle said, I'm going to do everything I can to get ahead. What are you going to do about it? You're supposed to be the professional here. Da-da-da-da-da. And Royce said that I could professionally get your ASS. I will professionally get your ass whooped if you keep effing with me. I say, tell him, Royce. I know we say we're supposed to be professional and all this stuff, but no. Don't come up in here with all this foolishness. I've been doing what you told me to do as far as how you try to blackmail me. We ain't doing that no more. However, Royce leaves the room, and we find out that Royce has finally played getting into the game. Kyle been playing chess, but now he has his own set of players on the board. He recorded that conversation, and Kyle did admit to blackmailing Royce. I say, do it, sir. Do it. Uno reverse on his tail for all the stuff that he's doing. However, you got to make your move fast, and you got to be strategic with it, since now he's gotten into the good graces of Mr. Campbell. All right, we're back at Flair. Joan is having a presentation that's done by Connie, Brittany, and the other male co-worker. I forgot what his name is. I'm gonna have to go back. Brittany shows basically what Connie wanted them to present to Joan about. Joan was like, okay, this is good, but where's the more edgier stuff? She wasn't impressed. Next thing you know, Connie steps up. Well, the guy said, well, Brittany did have some other things. And then Connie stepped in to save the day to say, she showed you this, but I have something more to show you. And it's the edgier stuff that Brittany presented to Connie that Connie shunned. Oh, she tried to, ooh. So I'm glad that Brittany spoke up. Like, well, this was my idea in the first place. But Joan is not really a fan of all of this, whatever's going on with the competition. Joan said, Connie, I don't know what's going on with your team, but you better fix it because somebody's getting fired. Hopefully, Connie, because look, but it does seem like it feels like it's coming from a place of that she has a problem with women. Connie does, and she wants to be in competition with them and wants to be over someone. It's quite crazy that you would dismiss what Brittany said, and what Brittany had all along was Joan's vision. I don't think you're cut out for this job, Connie. But keep your foot on her neck, Brittany. Here we go. I think Kara is meeting up with Lance. This is the lawyer that's helping out with her issue with the city, or with the city county. Lance shares with Kara that the city government is offering $500K. But he says, I think I can get you a better deal. Kara says that she does not want the money. The principle is that she wants to keep her old building. That's what she wants. Lance says that this is going to be really difficult because intimate domain cases are difficult to fight. So at this point, it's kind of disheartening to Kara. Do I give up? I don't want to give up. Lance ends up comforting her by touching her. And you can see that Kara is affected by that. Gary! You better bring your tail back to Florida. Man is touching a woman. And she feeling it. Lance says this. Look, we can fight it, but I can't make any promises for you. He was comforting, and I think that that's what Kara has needed all along. Most of the time when her and Gary are talking, he's usually doing something else, and he can't really comfort her. We find out later on in the episode that one of her love languages is physical touch. And this dude that came in here and comforted her with the touch that she needed. Team Kara. That's all I gotta say. Now we move on to Taryn and Ahmad. Ahmad comes over to Taryn's home. He's brought some food to the house. And it's only for himself. And Taryn said, "Oh, you didn't figure that I wanted something to eat?" He said, "Not really. I just got something for me because I was hungry. And I'm sure since you're at home, you would have cooked something for yourself." It's like, hold on, wait a minute. But then he tries to maneuver himself out of the conversation by saying, "Plates, babe." But that's how he did the last time. He just did it in a different way. Taryn pushes back a little bit more. And Ahmad says, "I did not purposely not get you food. I did not purposely not get you food." So then he says, "I'll share with you. It's no problem. Plates, babe." Just to move past the issue yet again. So anyways, he's getting plates. Then I think, did she go back to sit down someplace? I think she did. So she's telling us Ahmad did not even apologize. So she's trying to grunt or give vent her grievances to us in her monologue. Ahmad says, "Hey, while you're ordering, order some fries." Now he ain't even offered to pay for anything at all. I'm like, bruh. Brittany did call him a bum. Episode 1. And that's some inconsiderate bum behavior. I'm just saying. All right. So the next scene is at a women's care clinic. We see that Brittany and Monica are already there, and they are waiting for Taryn and Kara to show up. While they're sitting there, Monica looking very nervously, shaking and all that stuff. And Brittany's like, "Well, what's going on? Looking on, what's up?" She ends up sharing that she slept with Nick. And Brittany was like, "What's up? What happened here? How did that happen?" Monica says that I could not help myself and he has a hold on her. Brittany says, "Are you going to tell Paul?" She said, "I can't even think about that." Of course not. You don't want to blow up your spot. Well, Brittany tries to help Monica again. You keep falling into these traps. Ask yourself, why are you letting Nick make you compromise yourself? Because you cheated on your boyfriend. What is it about him or about you? I'm glad that Brittany did reinforce that, because Nick is the F boy. We know what his problem is. Why you keep falling for the F boy that you know can't give you anything in return that you're really seeking for? Monica says that something about him makes her feel wanted or seen. I would love to know what that is, because he only gives attention when he's ready to scratch an itch that he's got. I would really like to know. Brittany says that you have to love yourself more than anyone else outside of affection that you are receiving. Is the kind of love Nick is offering. Okay, I'm sorry. The kind of love Nick is offering can't be the kind of love that you're looking for, is it? That was more of a rhetorical question. Brittany ends it by saying, like, I can't tell you what to do or how to feel, but we all want better for you, and you have to want better for you. I think that Brittany is the most soft, the more sensitive to Monica, and that's why she's not saying or sharing anything with Taryn or Kara, because they are a lot more direct and clear cutting. Brittany, or did I say Brittany? Whatever. Brittany is the one that is able to give her a soft landing, but hey, I gotta hold you accountable for this, sis, in this whole situation. So she's more receptive to Monica. To Brittany, Monica is more receptive to Brittany. Let me move on from here. So Kara and Taryn, they do show up, and Kara basically forces Taryn to sit right next to Monica. They sit there in silence for a few minutes, and Taryn decides to be the bigger person and take the high road. So Taryn does apologize to Monica. She says that my timelessness on my assignments, I apologize for that, and I understand that they may have been affecting your workload. I'm sorry. And then she says, Mercedes is moving foul, but I'm just going to mind my business. Monica apologizes. Did Monica truly owe Taryn an apology? I don't feel that way. However, when you started getting that stink attitude back, it's just like, ugh. But I think that it probably just shown great maturity out of both women to apologize to each other, to have a clean slate for if there's any type of miscommunications or whatever. But I think Taryn was the one that really owed you an apology. But hey, where am I at? Monica says that my intentions wasn't to make you feel micromanaged. The position is so challenging. But I promise to make a better effort to be more communicative with you without attitude. Attitude wasn't there beforehand. It became an attitude when Taryn decided to rebel. But y'all can get in the comments and fight me on it. All right. So Kara asks, why are we here? And Taryn says, I think it's good for us to get a clean bill of sexual health. Everyone's down for it. Like Kara says, I think that this is good. South Florida does have a high rate in STDs and higher in the Black community. I did a little research because I knew it was quite high within South Florida. So I went to a website called Interbody, and they are reporting that as of 2025, that Miami is the 19th in the nation for the highest STI rates. Back in 2023, we were at 16. So it is going down. Taryn ends up confessing that she slept with the mod a couple times. And Kara says, it looks like we uncrossed our holy legs to let in... looks like we uncrossed our holy legs to let unsanctified peen in. Oh, my Lord. Looks like we uncrossed our holy legs to let unsanctified peen in. Kara says, I ain't mad at it. Taryn is torn because they're asking, is this really the place that you want to be in? Um, she thought it was something that she wanted to do, but not sure anymore. Brittany says that maybe you've outgrown the old ways of what you thought you needed out of the relationship. So they kind of leave it there, and then Kara moves on as they're talking about sexual health. Hey, Brightline, talking to Brittany. I said, Lord, how's the train pipeline going over there? Brittany says, ain't no train. It's only been a few men, and she has been using protection every time. Brittany's come to the conclusion that serial dating is not for her. And Terrence says, stop dating for sport, and encourages her to. And to get back to dating with intention. Invest in someone who wants to invest in you. And that cues in Leon. So she's not really effing with Royce because she's pissed off that Royce didn't choose her right away. Instead of allowing him the chance and opportunity to get his ish together. Anyways, we move on, and the doctor sees all the ladies individually. And she has a round of questions that you usually get asked when you are there. One of the most uncomfortable questions is, do you want to get an STD panel? And all the ladies said, sure, let's get this going. And Kara said, it better be clean, too. Yes, please be clean. Because, Gary, I've been rooting for you. Don't make me have to burn this bridge. All right. So, Kara, she has another set of friends that are outside of the friend circles that we are used to. Now, I really commend that for the writers to write that in, because in a lot of TV shows that we know, all we see is that there's these set friends and nobody else. I've only seen that a couple of times where it's that way, that, okay, we got friends outside of this close unit here. So, bravo to y'all for exploring that. Now, they got their own opinions about some of Kara's friends. They've been feeling neglected, and they're just asking to be remembered sometimes. And Kara does vow to do better as far as hanging out with them and all that good stuff. They talk about birthday plans for Kara, and she said, picture it, a group trip, getting a large Airbnb, and just having a time. Now, one of the friends asked, who all is going to be there? Because you got some bougie friends. Are you talking about this little circle here or some other friends? Will your boo be there? And she said, yes. Writers, I have a feeling a detour is coming and Gary's not going to be able to make it. I hope not. Please. But anyways, Kara does say yes, and I need him. Meaning for the physicality of everything. Of course she misses him. So then she expresses at how it's really hard with this long distance relationship. I've never really done this, and I need physical touch. Hence why she was so affected by Lance touching her, just to comfort her. One of the friends says, you can still stick it out, but it looks like your hearts need to be in the same place as you. Kara says, I really like Gary, but she says this love stuff is hard for me. And then, of course, the whole physical touch thing. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so Kara's got to really come to terms into this whole situation. The only consolation I just know is that at least it's temporary. But I guess it's just really hard. And then with Kara coming from a place of not really effing with relationships, and getting into a serious relationship, and now all now they're separated. It could be a lot, and I think I do understand her a lot in regards to that. So Royce meets up with his friend Mike. It looks like Mike has this bar. They talk about him getting into the spot. Then Royce really lets it out as far as the things that are going on in his life, things about Kyle, and also with Brittany. Mike was like, I don't know really how to help you with things at your job, but this whole thing with Brittany, look, dude, what are you doing? Because he says, I slept with Brittany. Do you see a future with Joy? Royce is like, I think. And Mike said, you ain't changed a bit. What do you mean? It's time for you to grow up. Decide the kind of man you want to be. You can't have it both ways, or have it your way. This isn't Burger King. Meaning you're going to have to make some tough decisions. What do you want instead of playing the field like this with these women like that? Again, I've never not seen any faults in Royce, However, it's not just on him in this whole situation. And whomever you want, you better make up your decision right now, because I think you're about to be replaced. And Brittany's going to have this choice of really to the left. Yeah. Monica shows up at Paul's. She's sitting there she's standing there really nervous. And she says, I've been in my head about a relationship. And I wasn't really open to what I deserved. Monica, is Paul the one that you really want? Because at this point, it still seems like you're forcing yourself into something that you really aren't really settled in. But anyways, Paul is understanding. She says, I'm ready to move forward with you. So I guess we got to see how things go. Paul is making dinner. He says, thank you for sharing and all that good stuff. Still oblivious to what Monica had going on after she committed herself to him already. At Taryn's home, she's really dressed herself up. There are plans for her and Ahmad to go to an upscale restaurant. And basically, she's waiting. I think it was about almost 2 hours of her waiting. He's not reachable nor responding. She ends up checking her Ahmad's IG stories and seeing he's out partying with people. Of course, that pisses off Taryn, as the rest of us. Kara and Gary finally speak over FaceTime. They're talking about that they miss each other. And Kara says, this is a lot. And Gary was like, it's a lot on him too. And I miss you too. So they end up doing things for themselves to try to connect on FaceTime, if you know what I mean. So they had a little sexy time on FaceTime. So back at Paul's, Monica is looking at her phone. It looks like she was still checking for the stories. But anyways, she gets an email alert from Joan. She first sees that there's an assignment that she's currently working on done. And she's like, it's done? What is that? How did that happen? Joan has a message sent to her saying, great job delegating this assignment over to Mercedes. And Monica's like, what? Obviously, Mercedes done worked her way into Joan's good graces to now get this assignment that was not ever promised to her or delegated to her. And of course, that pisses off Monica. Let's see how she handles that. Ahmad finally makes it to Taryn's home. Looks like he's a little bit drunk too. He tries to explain himself as Taryn is really upset. He says that he had the dates wrong. He thought in his calendar it was next week. Taryn's not really buying that. Nobody else is either. And Taryn's really ripping into him and just doesn't really understand what is the big issue. And you're making it hard for us to be together. And he says, nothing that I've done has been on purpose. And Taryn says, you've been inconsiderate. And then she says, well, maybe we shouldn't be together. And he's like, what? Taryn just leaves it there and just says, look, we have a lot of things to think about. She didn't officially break up with him. I think they just need some time for things to settle. And Taryn at this point is just really frustrated, but she says, I'm going to bed. Are you staying here? And because he's upset and pissed, he says, no, I'm leaving. That was the end of the episode. The writing is on the wall for Taryn and Ahmad. Ahmad has not really changed. I don't think a relationship is where he is at. That's fine. But y'all are carrying on like boyfriend and girlfriend. Taryn is investing more in this guy, and y'all have just been so consumed in what has been familiar and comfortable. And all the times y'all keep drawing back from the past to try to make this situation work. And it's not working. Even though you didn't break up with him, Taryn, you should have just let him go. Ooh, nervous about Gary and Kara. I don't know what's going to happen there. I really think that Nick is going to come back around and blow up Brittany's spot. Because you made sure that you did not say what you needed to say to Paul fully. And I know it's going to weigh on you heavily. But time will tell. And we've already exhausted things about Brittany and Ahmad. And we just got to see where it goes. Not Ahmad. Royce. And we got to see where that goes. But I appreciate everyone for coming. Thank you for joining me. Like this video. Leave your comments. And until the next one, peace.